how to get into real estate. In this video, real quick, just like in the title, I want to kind of explain to you how to get into real estate, my experience from it, and the things you really want to avoid through my experience. I've been licensed for a few years now, so I'm going to literally tell you everything I've seen, everything to avoid, because I wish I would have known these things when I first started. So let's hop right into it here. First off, if you're on this video, you're searching how to get into real estate, you're probably brand new, and maybe you're looking to get into real estate investments, or you're looking to get on the real estate agent realtor side of things. I'm going to more talk about how to get into real estate on the real estate agent side of things, or realtor side. And there is a difference between realtor and real estate agent, but let me just kind of go through it here real quick for you, because this is how I wish somebody would have showed me when I first started, instead of doing the super expensive route I started in when I first got started. So I'm going to hopefully save you a ton of headaches. But kind of breaking it down, what you're seeing here is obviously Zillow, and it's just Miami, Florida. But why I pulled this up is because, to just kind of give you like an example, this is crazy, an $18 million house. But kind of pulling up, I mean, what you do as a real estate agent is you typically help people buy or sell their house. Depending on where you're at, maybe you'll help with leases or like rentals sometimes. Like that's real big in California. But like if you want to show up down here, Premier, never pay for Zillow. It's really crappy for most people. But essentially, like that's real estate agents, realtors down here, right? And what you do typically is you help people buy houses like these. Through like they either reach out to you, or typically the company or firm you work with has some sort of lead gen, or you typically list these houses, which is the main goal for most agents, is to list houses because it's a lot easier, a lot more predictable income. Now, what's really, let me see, all right, yeah, so what's real big with being like a real estate agent, realtors, because I'll show you here in a second, but you could typically make your own schedule and kind of make however much you want. So I kind of break it down like this, because a lot of people are like, well, how much do agents make and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. And essentially, here's how it works, all right? Now, typically, you're probably not going to be dealing with these high end of homes. But like right here, this condo, $385,000. That's not too bad, because most homes across the U.S. Are typically around $300,000 to $200,000, somewhere in between there. So I'll make it super simple, right? So we'll just do like $300,000. Now, as a real estate agent, it's always going to vary, but just kind of keep it simple. It's like an average. So typically, if you list a property, right, let's say for $300,000, you typically make 6% of whatever it sells for, right? So on a $300,000 house, that's how much you'd be making. Now, that's not how much you're taking home, putting in your pocket, right? Typically what happens is, when somebody, like for example, if you list a property and another agent brings a buyer, which is typically what happens, that agent typically makes 3%. So we'll just divide this by 2, because again, one side makes 3%, the other side makes 3%. Now that's not how it always happens, but that's typically how it happens. Now if you do something called a dual agency, where you represent the buyer and the seller, you would make that $18,000. But for example, let's say you sell that $300,000 house, you make 3%. Now you have $9,000 in commission that you made on that. Now, typically, depending on how your brokerage is set up, like what firm you work with, like at Century 21, Coldwell Banker, like whatever, they always do different commission splits. So typically, most I see is like 65%, or maybe 90, 100% to some agencies, depending on where you have your license at. But let's say, like for example, I typically see 70%. So what they do is, in that case, you on every sale you'd make 70% of what the company made, and then the rest goes to like the team leader or broker. So for example, if you're on a 70%, it'd be 70-30% split. If you're on 50%, it's 50-50 split. So I'll do 9,000 times the 70, and this is realistically how much you're going to be bringing home out of that, with that, because that's your split, whereas the other goes to your broker or whatever. That's typically how it's set up. Now obviously you have to pay your own taxes out of that and whatnot, but that's typically how it's set up. Now let me show you this real quick, because Most people are like, hey, well, how do I get my license? And when I got my license, I ended up going to some like little mini college school and paying a crap ton. And I found out real quick, like, you did not have to do that. It was not worth it. So what you're seeing here is something I wish I would have found out in the beginning. And this was a lot of agents do after talking to them. This is called realestateexpress.com. You can literally, if you go to the link below, it's going to take you to this website. And you can go on here and you can do things like get my license. It pops up there. Exam prep, passing the exam is very, very, very important. When I was in the class, like, I failed one part of it, I think once, and when I was in the class, this guy was telling me about how this one lady failed it 23 times in a row. Honestly, if that was me, I probably would have thrown in the towel. But she passed on her 24th because she actually had to go and do like exam prep masters and things like that. Because you have to take 2 tests. You have to take your local and your national test. But if you come onto this website, what you'll see here is a lot of information about becoming a real estate agent and like different things. So is it right for you? You want to know exactly what it is. Like, I wish I would have known exactly what I was getting into, because I just kind of hopped right into it, like not even researching it or anything. And it is totally different than typically what most people do. But yeah, it is true. You can work from home, make your own hours, good income. If you work it, you have to work it. You only get paid commission, so you always have to be working that. With that. And come over here real quick, 3 steps. So again, if you come on the site, it's going to take you through everything. But literally all you have to do to be a real estate agent, realtor, is you have to take the licensing courses. Depending on your state, there's a certain amount of hours you have to take. You have to pass the real estate exam. After that, they issue your license. You have to pay your fees. And then, yeah, I mean, you're pretty much off to the races and you have to find a place to park your license. So like a firm, you just have to find somewhere, and typically anybody will take you. It's not like people get worried about getting interviewed, but almost any company is going to take you, because if you make money, then they make money. But the one thing you want to look at, the major thing is, when you're looking at companies, you want to make sure you pick the right company, because some charge pretty outrageous fees monthly. To have your license there for like different marketing products and things like that. But also, you want to make sure that the place you're going to when you're brand new, how much support and like training it gives you, because that is literally the make or break, the most important thing for you when you're getting started out. So that's the biggest thing, is you want to make sure you're not paying crazy fees to have your license there, and you want to make sure you're getting good training. And this is kind of what to expect from Real Estate Express. Now, Real Estate Express is one of the #1 real estate schools to get your license and everything, so this is why I recommend them. Now, literally, I paid, it was like $1,400+ to get my license to go through the stupid classes. When I figured out, I was like, oh, now after I went through everything and passed everything, everybody's like, oh, you should just went online and did it, and you could have got this super easy and this like way cheaper. And I was like, man, that sucks. But this is why I'm making this video for you today. So hopefully you can avoid the headaches I had, and you can kind of check this out for yourself if you are interested in becoming a real estate agent. So check this out. Has a lot of really good information. So kind of what to expect, like what the costs are going to be kind of to get your license. Again, it's always going to vary. If you take it all online, I'm telling you right now, a lot cheaper than you would anywhere else. And this is pass or don't pay guarantee your exam. Like, if I would have done that, then that would have been real nice, because you have to pay to take your exam. And that lady, for example, failed it 23 times. That's insanity to me. But the reviews are there. This is probably the best site to get it. You can get 35% off if you go to that link below in the description. But yeah, hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully I gave you some really good tips and tricks and pointers about what to expect or what to look for. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video was, and I hope you guys have a wonderful career in real estate if you do